7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on the station playing America's best music, 95.9 FM WEZC. 10 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Well, we've seen some late afternoon and evening showers, even thunderstorms, pop up in central Illinois in the last couple of nights, most notably the northern portion of our listening area, and actually has dropped some pretty substantial rain. We start in Bloomington Normal in McLean County, where we've seen between 7/10 and 3/4 of an inch of rainfall in Bloomington Normal, about 9/10 of an inch of rain around Leroy, and between Leroy and Hayworth on 136 in the southern part of the county, 8/10 of an inch of rainfall. If you move just to the east in southern Ford County between Paxton and Gibson City, about 1.1 along Route 9 in, again, southern Ford County. Move just to the south and east. Rantoul in northern Champaign County has received 1.3 inches of rain over the last several days, or the last couple of nights, I guess I should say. 9/10 of an inch of rain to 1 inch and 1.1 inches among reports in Seymour in western Champaign County. Champaign-Urbana itself reporting between a half, 2/3, 8/10, and 9/10 of an inch of rainfall. St. Joseph in eastern Champaign County the last couple of nights, 2.25 inches of rainfall in eastern Champaign County. Just north of Sidney in rural Champaign County, about 1/2 inch of rainfall in the very southeast corner in Broadlands in Champaign County, 3/4 of an inch of rainfall the last several nights. Moving back to the north and the west, Peoria, the Peoria area, about 9/10 of an inch of rainfall in far western Peoria County. Just on the other side of the Peoria County line in western Woodford County near the river, about 1 inch of rainfall. Northern Tazewell County, Washington, 2/3 of an inch of rainfall. And between Eureka and Washington, in far eastern Tazewell County, 1 inch and 8/10 of rainfall. Morton has gotten about 3/10 of an inch of rain the last couple of nights. If you move even farther to the east, Vermilion County in Danville reporting between 6/10, 2/3, and 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. Western Vermilion County near Fithian, about 8/10 of an inch of rain, and Hoopeston in northern Vermilion County, about 9/10 of an inch of rainfall. Down in Christian County, southeast Christian County, between Pana and Assumption, along 51, 1 inch and 1/10 the last couple of evenings as well. So seen some rainfall in central Illinois. It's interesting. It's about a line that stretches from Galesburg through Peoria, Bloomington, and down into Champaign-Urbana, and then you can kind of catch up with it again in Indianapolis if you zoom out, and that's one of the great features of this interactive map at CocoRoz.org. Just some of the things you can do with this interactive map here at CocoRoz. We've picked out a range of dates as well. In fact, to broaden that range a little bit over the last week here in central Illinois, Bloomington Normal has gotten nearly 2 inches of rain. Reports ranging between 1.5 inches, 1 inch and 2/3, and 2 inches in Bloomington Normal. In McLean County, nearly 3 inches of rain in Leroy in southern McLean County, and nearly 4 inches of rain in southeastern McLean County near Bellflower on 54 in McLean County as well. Champaign-Urbana has gotten about 4.5 inches in the last couple of days, or the last week, I guess I should say, between 4 1/5, 4 4/10, and almost 5 inches in some parts of Champaign-Urbana. 5.5 inches of rain in St. Joseph this last week. 4 1/3 inches in southeastern Champaign County near Sidney the last several days, and 4 1/3 inches of rain in Rantoul the last several days in central Illinois as well. Danville has gotten 5.5 inches of rain in the last week or so here in central Illinois. They've gotten just completely inundated with rain. This week, Washington, an inch and a half, 2 6/10 inches of rain between Washington and Eureka. In northern Tazewell County, Morton's gotten 1 1/3 inches of rain this week. And again, in far eastern Peoria County, 2 1/4 inches of rain in that portion of central Illinois. So, man, we've gotten plenty of rain here in central Illinois this week. And a lot of it, some steady rains, which was very, very, very helpful earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday. We just saw rain roll through. And that was very beneficial, I'm sure, for area farmers. But again, CocoRoz.org is where you find that information. Again, a great interactive map, so easy to use, just a great resource, great tool for central Illinoisans, whether you're looking for rainfall totals, maybe on your farming operation or in your neighborhood. Just a great interactive map. Again, that's CocoRoz.org. All right, let's get to the news on this Friday. Hunters likely don't need an incentive to get out in the woods and start prepping their tree stands and hunting grounds for the fall hunting season. DNR Conservation Police Captain John Williamson says hunters are already out getting those areas ready. One of the top safety concerns for authorities in the fall is tree stands, and Captain Williamson hopes if you're out prepping, don't forget to give that tree stand a good once-over.
Guys are always, you get your duck hunters, your waterfowl hunters, even upland game hunters, they're planting food plots, they're getting their tree stands ready, getting their dove fields manicured. If they do have a duck lease, something like that, where they're getting ready to start capturing water, to start putting water in those places, that's the kind of stuff that's going on. And when you get those kind of places, you have any questions about the legality of what you're doing, make sure you contact your local conservation officer. Be happy to help you out and let you know what you can or can't do.
The captain reminds there are things you can legally do, but most hunters are aware there are some practices that are not allowed because of the risk of disease spreading through the deer population.
This time of year, mainly it's planting, and anything you plant, you're fine. You're good. When it comes time for waterfowl, you got to watch about what you do, mow, different things. For deer hunting, what we see this time of year people are doing wrong is you cannot put out mineral, you cannot put out salt blocks. Those type of things, those would be illegal because of CWD. Back when I very first started this 20 years ago, you could put that stuff out and had to have it removed 10 days prior to the start of season. Now you can't have it out any time of the year because of chronic wasting disease.
Right.
It attracts those deer together, and nose-to-nose contact is where that disease is spread. It's a mineral for the deer. Some of them, they'll have different minerals in them to help them grow bigger antlers, to just be healthier body-wise. People think that sort of thing. We live in the grain belt. They get all the nutrients they need by corn and soybeans and that sort of stuff. So they get a lot of that themselves.
According to Captain Williamson, hunters are also putting in for deer tags right now. He says the first round of tags has already taken place, but encourages hunters to watch for that second round soon.
You're putting in for tags this time of year, so if you've got tags you're putting in for, this is the perfect time. You've missed the first draw, which was in, I think you had him in by the end of March, but our second draw and third draw will be coming up. So Definitely keep an eye on tags and getting your tags that you want for which counties you want to hunt. Right. But then they'll have their second choices if they want to have it, like for myself, I hunt local, but then I try to get a tag for down in Southern Illinois if I can make it down to my buddy's place, that sort of stuff. Okay. So bow tags are good statewide. Firearm tags are by county or special hunt area. So some of our state ground, you can get a tag just for that state area. They're not just on the first draw. So they'll say, let's say, DeWitt County is a smaller county. They're going to issue 500 tags. Okay. That's good. If they all get filled up in the first draw, they're gone. Then they're done for the rest of the draws.
Okay.
But so after they do the first draw, they'll put out what's left. So that's how somebody can go back and look and see, and this county's closed, but this county still has tags, that sort of stuff.
Hunters should also be connecting with landowners whose land they hunt on. Captain Williamson says this is always a beneficial practice because a landowner may have sold some of his property or acquired more property you might be able to hunt on. 3 teens are dead following a crash between a UTV and a grain hauler truck in Shelby County Wednesday evening. Illinois State Police were called to 1200 North 3150 East Road around 5:30 Wednesday night. Illinois State Police say a 2022 Polaris UTV was traveling south on County Road 3150 East. A grain tractor trailer was traveling east on County Road 1200 North. According to State Police, the UTV ran a stop sign on 3150 East, and the tractor trailer hit the UTV. Two 14-year-old females were pronounced dead on the scene. One was transported to Ascension St. Vincent Hospital in Indianapolis with life-threatening injuries and was later pronounced deceased. The driver was uninjured in the crash. Illinois State Police are still investigating. Stewart's and Strasburg High School held a student visual at 4 o'clock yesterday and will hold a public vigil at 6. Names of the deceased have not been released at this time. We'll continue to keep this story updated. News time, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. We'll have plenty more coming your way on the morning show.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. What do the weather conditions look like for the last half of July in Illinois?
We're going to have a little bit of everything. It's going to start off steamy for the first couple days, and that's mainly statewide. But then after, I'd say Tuesday of next week, northeast half of Illinois starts getting some breaks from northwesterly flow and cold fronts coming through the Great Lakes. Southwest parts of Illinois, they stay warm and especially humid through most of the entire week until you get into the late week, and then they join in. And we actually have an area high pressure after one of these fronts come through that actually retrogrades, or it brings a backdoor cold front in, and that's going to be moving in as we get towards not next weekend, but early the following week. Everybody is going to get a nice break from cooler weather from the Great Lakes, so you won't have to take your summer vacation up to the Great Lakes, Michigan and Wisconsin. We are going to be cooler for at least a 3 to 4 day stretch before we hit that last week of July. But then it looks like that last week of July, we are going to have the heat begin to build in from the west. But I bet that doesn't last too long either, because of a tropical season kicking in, and we've shown we can get fronts from the north coming in, and now we're even going to have a backdoor cold front coming in from the northeast. I don't think any extreme heat is going to last more than 3 or 4 days for the rest of the summer.
Paul Otto, meteorologist with Freeze Notice Weather, talked to the RFD radio network earlier this week. At the start of the week, Governor J.B. Pritzker said in a press conference that he's all for Joe Biden. Then the other day at an event, he was caught on a hot microphone telling someone that we're going to do what we have to do. I don't like where we are. In the immediate aftermath, his spokeswoman says the governor was talking about the presidential race. On Thursday, Governor Pritzker says Biden still can win the presidential election.
Yeah. Oh, I think that we would have an excellent chance with any Democrat, except that Joe Biden is the one who's proved over 50 years that he is a patriot. He's somebody who believes in the working families of America, and he's delivered for them.
The Democratic National Convention starts in Chicago on August the 19th. The governor gave his full support to President Biden this week to stay in the race. The governor was asked if the president would step aside, would he be interested in being considered to fill the spot on the ticket.
What I can tell you is I'm not engaging in any hypotheticals. You can see that I'm all in for Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party. I'm going to go out there and wholeheartedly campaign for him. I've endorsed him and Kamala Harris. He's going to be at the convention in August, accepting the nomination, and I'll be cheering for him in the audience.
Governor Pritzker says he's expecting Biden to be in Chicago this August to accept the Democratic presidential nomination. Prime Day comes up next week, but Amazon is not the only retailer rolling out discounts during the summer months. A consumer watchdog wants to make sure you don't get caught up in the excitement and fall for phishing scams, misleading advertisements, and lookalike websites. Better Business Bureau investigator Don O'Brien says you should shop trustworthy websites.
We had a report of a consumer who attempted to sign up for Amazon Prime through a fraudulent lookalike website. They ended up talking to a phony customer service rep. This person gave them a lot of different information, including their social security number and their driver's license. They also sent $500 to quote-unquote open this account, and it was all bogus.
O'Brien says if there's questions about the security of the site, look to the address bar. Secure site will start with HTTPS. This year's Prime Day is actually scheduled for 2 days, July 16th and July 17th. USDA recently issued its fiscal year 2023 study of trends within several of its domestic food and nutrition assistance programs. Rod Bain has this report.
What trends were reflected within federal domestic food and nutrition assistance programs over the course of the past fiscal year? That is the focus of an annual study and report presented by USDA's Economic Research Service. Jordan Jones is among the economic researchers co-authoring the report for fiscal year 2023. He starts with some context.
We're focusing on that period from October 22 through September 2023. This was a time period where we still saw the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and the policy responses that were in place and implemented in response to the pandemic. But then we also in 2023 saw the end of the public health emergency declaration and the expiration of many of the temporary programs and provisions that were implemented in response to the pandemic. So we also saw program participation and spending respond accordingly.
As for the breakdown of findings within the Food and Nutrition Assistance Landscape Report for the prior fiscal year,
total spending for the year was about $166 billion, which is a lot and well above any pre-pandemic peak, but down from the peak in 2021 of $202 billion adjusted to 2023 dollars.
Delving further into specific programs, Jones starts with the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
SNAP participation increased in 2023 to about 42 million people per month on average, and that came out to about a 12.6% national participation rate. In terms of developments, we saw a sizable increase in the regular benefit for the year, but there was also the expiration of supplemental emergency allotments midway through the years. So overall, benefit levels fell and spending on SNAP fell.
Turning to the Women, Infants, and Children program,
WIC participation increased in 2023 to about 6.6 million per month, and 2023 was also the first year since 2009 that we saw participation increase for all three of the participant groups. And WIC was also the only major program that we covered for which spending increased last year to $6.6 billion.
Regarding collective child nutrition programs,
they had their first full school year in fiscal year 2023 that was after the expiration of some important waivers that allowed free meals for all students regardless of income and also increased meal reimbursement rates for the previous school year. And following those expirations, we saw total spending fall to $27 billion in 2023. And then meals served for the school meal programs and other child nutrition programs combined fell to about 8.8 billion meals for the year.
Jones adds FY23 was the final year for the temporary pandemic electronic benefit transfer program.
PEBT was implemented in 2020 as a response to the pandemic to get some benefits to families whose children lost out on school meals because of the pandemic and those disruptions. It was its last year in 2023, and so PEBT was kind of winding down and issued fewer benefits, about $13.7 billion.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
News time is 28 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Friday. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and we stream to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.